Oh man, we're doing this again, are we? Payment processors think they have any business dealing with what the customers buy. They went after manga, comics, visual novels. I've talked about those already. And this time, they're going after your video games. Oh wait, they already did that with DL Site because they too have games there other than visual novels. But Steam is also a new target for this, as in their newest rule, they disallow games that may violate the rules and standards set forth by Steam's payment processors. In other words, if PayPal, MasterCard, or Visa do not consent with you playing visual novels that feature incest or anything that sounds or looks disgusting to anyone who can't tell the difference between fiction and reality, they're gonna take those games off of Steam. And they did. This is one of the reasons why cryptocurrency is invented. It's decentralized, does not rely on the big banks, and doesn't give a damn whether you buy adult games featuring incest or normal games featuring incest. The problem with cryptocurrency is that there are way too many trash coins lying around and influencers rug pulling their audiences out of their hard-earned cash. Not that any of these banned games are masterpieces, mind you. In fact, plenty of these games feature characters consuming bodily fluids that you're supposed to waste. I know, I found the screenshots of some of those games outside of Steam, and they're not something you want to see in a family room, I can tell you that. There are loads of slops being released on Steam, but if you're gonna remove these games from the website, remove them because they're garbage derivative cash grab slops that polluted the store, not because the payment processors think they are morally righteous to do so because they find the content morally reprehensible. Do you think it's unfair that games are being banned on Steam because the payment processors think they are awful? Remember the 3D visual novel No Mercy and how we tackled one of the most delusional feminist moral guardians that we've ever encountered at this godforsaken hellhole that is the internet? Well, they are back, and this time they claim credit for the takedown of all these morally dubious Steam games featuring incest and all those horrible topics that they clearly didn't like. What are their excuses this time? There are 500 games featuring all these horrible topics that has attracted significant media coverage. Really? Because none of those games that I've seen getting banned are games that I have ever heard of. I guess I really miss such amazing masterpieces like Blood, Sweat, and Lions. Apparently, the game features almost naked women being mauled by lions, and some of them exchange bodily fluids. Definitely not a Game of the Year contender. Even so, they are still fictional. The same execs have also received more than 1,000 emails from concerned individuals. Believe it or not, this organization did claim that they were also fighting for real causes, but whatever those real causes that you fought for is completely undermined by this pathetic attempt on censoring fiction, which is not the first time they're doing it. These games endorsing men's sexualized abuse and torture of women and girls fly in the face of efforts to address violence against women. Maybe because moral guardians like you spend way too much effort on caring about fictional women than the suffering of real women, and you're blaming the game for that? Even if you only put 1% of your time to fight for fictional women, that's still 1% too much that you could have put on fighting for the struggles of real women. We're spending millions of dollars on respect and consent education in schools, but these are highly interactive first-person simulations games for boys to play. Wow. I love how you expose to the world that you absolutely suck at educating people about consent. And because you suck at educating people, you decided to attack the things that you thought were corrupting the youths. These hundreds of games that you ban were all obscure games anyway, so fat chance it did corrupting the youths. I'd argue TikTok is corrupting the youths more. I still remember their justification saying that they can help real women and ban video games that hurt women. No, you cannot. Banning video games not only do not help real women, but you're also putting all that 1,000 emails worth of effort on fictional women than the real ones. Credit card companies have decided that it would be a good idea to limit what people can and cannot buy with their services. It's really not helped with these moral guardians continuing to encourage the banning of these games off the platforms, or at least the popular ones. As shown in the No Mercy hoopla that I talked a while back, while these moral guardians successfully taken that game off of Steam, they still haven't taken the game off of itch.io. Never mind, they successfully took down the game from itch.io. But you can still find this game in some areas of the 7 Seas if you look hard enough. The version that I got from the 7 Seas is an older version, but you can still beat it. And that's how I found out that that game is mediocre, dull, and it's definitely not the kind that would encourage me to commit commit real-life crimes to women, nor is it the kind of game that changed my perspective and viewpoint of women. Real-life women has done a great job of that already. I suspect that a lot of these banned, derivative, edgy, hardcore adult slops are also not going to win any Game of the Year awards, but the point is not that these games are terrible, derivative, and feature one character urinating to the ground and another character having to drink it from them. That's not a joke, by the way, that actually happened. I know, because while the games are banned, you can still find the screenshots of some of them online, and they are not pretty. Point is, these games are disgusting, but they don't deserve to be banned. The characters in these games are fictional. Sure, people may revel on their pain and suffering. Sure, some people in this world may be into consuming wasteful bodily fluids, but those people are not committing any crimes aside from having really poor taste in adult video games, but that's a matter of subjective opinion. Are we entering a new age of censorship where payment processors and moral guardians get to decide which product that people can or cannot buy? Unfortunately, yes, we are, but this is not the end of the world. Nexus mods have censored plenty of mods that they deem problematic, like this Eve mod where she has a black domination fetish, and that's where Ayaka mods come in, and many other alternative mod websites that are willing to host these kinds of problematic mods. The websites aren't perfect, but where else are you going to find a mod that features Eve having a tattoo of her aborted white babies on her thighs? It's just fiction, guys. Don't take it too seriously. But what about games? No Mercy was banned on Steam and itch.io. Loads of games banned on Steam because of the payment processors being moral guardians about it, and the moral guardians themselves don't help. How else are we going to get the game? That really depends on the developers or the publishers. They have the right to sell and publish the game anywhere they like and at whatever price tags they like. Steam isn't the only place they can publish their game. Maybe they can self-publish their game on their own website. Or maybe there are websites that sell adult games. One thing is for sure, you do not sell these kinds of stuff on Epic Games Store. As for the payment processors, are there any alternatives to MasterCard and Visa? Technically, yes. You can apply to other payment processors like JCB or American Express, but that's assuming that they'll accept your application. Some websites have their own wallets, and you can buy credits for that wallet to buy the games that you want to buy. And of course, there's crypto, but that's only if the sellers accept them, and only if you are very comfortable with it. And if you are very flexible on your morality and only want to get the game without paying, selling the Cs is definitely an option that you can take, especially when most of these indie games don't have any strong DRMs on them. The censorship has certainly made it harder to find the games, buy the games, or even getting the games at all, but it's not impossible. Learn how to browse the web, sail the seas, find some viable alternatives. Be an active participant to find the media that you enjoy and protect the media that you enjoy. Don't just spread the word and talk about the issues. Talk about how to overcome them. Talk about alternatives. Or better yet, create alternatives, even if the alternative requires you to host stuff you don't like. The world of gaming is going to the crapper, but that doesn't mean you should too. I have plenty more hooplas to discuss in the next section, so if you like this video so far, don't forget to click the like button, comment, subscribe, and leave some tips through any of these means, including YouTube membership, links below. Thank you to all the sponsors this week, you're all fantastic. Here's another installment of Ubisoft being out of their minds. Ubisoft said that microtransactions make the player experience more fun. That's just amazing, don't you think? This statement reminds me so much of that old Counter-Strike clone Point Blank. I remember loads of people playing that when I was in middle school, and those same people are having way more fun than everyone because they bought the Chris SMG. What I'm trying to say is, if Ubisoft said this, then that means their games are so boring that you have to pay them to make them more fun. Players can personalize their avatars or progress more quickly. Ah, yes, progress quickly, like those time savers that you sold for Ghost Recon Breakpoint, where you buy those time savers and they'll either bump up your levels or multiply the XPs and cash for you. Ubisoft games are so boring that they're actually selling you digital items that let you just skip them. How convenient! I might as well just skip the whole game for free! Speaking of getting things for free, this hoopla makes you wish you get this for free. I hate to admit it, but Adobe still remains one of the most well-known professional media production software suites out there, and my heart absolutely feels giddy when I hear another media producer getting out of the Adobe ecosystem, like how video editors are switching to DaVinci Resolve. It really is that good. and it's free. I still personally use Vegas Pro. I can use Resolve as well, but I grew up with Vegas Pro, and it's the only video editor that perfectly matches my workflow. Their Fusion section is also a solid After Effects alternative. GIMP and Inkscape are perfect for my workflow. Canva and CapCut are just all around phenomenal, and I've barely touched Photoshop and Illustrator ever since. I feel giddy because Adobe subscription services are insane. You're charged $420 or probably more for an early cancellation fee. This is why I said that if you're going to use Adobe, at least use the ones you get from the 7 Cs. When you signed up, you agreed to this explicitly. Are you? I want evidence for this because I highly doubt a multi-billion-dollar corporation like Adobe would make something like that very explicit. If they did, good on them. That still makes this thing very scummy. Quit being fraudulent and own up to your honor and responsibility. Wow, leave the billion-dollar corporation alone. I know it's hard to wait for 4 days, but I'm sure you can do it. Bro, the fact that Adobe is charging $420 for cancellation, even though only 4 days remain on their subscription, is the reason why people should never ever pay for a subscription on their software and sell the freaking Cs for them. Speaking of selling the Cs, you better watch out because even if you're not explicitly doing that, you still might get the attention of the feds. I have been tempting fate as of late. A couple weeks ago, I highlighted a slew of retro game consoles being sold on the Indonesian online stores, made by third-party manufacturers that run on either Android or Linux that allow you to play all sorts of retro games that you put inside an SD card. And then this horrific thing happened. An Italian YouTuber who actually reviewed those retro consoles given by the companies who manufactured them are being threatened prison time because apparently, according to some ancient law, these consoles are shipped with copyrighted ROMs and therefore illegal. This is the second instance the authorities are involved because people decided to sail the seas to get their games. Unfortunately, it's difficult to find original copies of a lot of retro games, so isn't it nice that these pirates actually preserve them in a ROM format that you can play on any hardware that can emulate those platforms? Unfortunately, these authorities are not gamers, and they really do not understand the concept of game preservation. Hey, you can hate these pirates all you like, but they are the ones that are actively turning all the games in the world to be at a playable state without any internet connection or DRM checks. They might get the games for free, but they also preserve them for the future generations to play. Good luck finding a copy of Mario Galaxy 2 with a still working Wii in the next 10 years. And that's all for the video today. Here's a cat. Don't forget to check out my previous videos here. Click the like button, comment, subscribe, leave some tips, just $1 down below. And thanks for watching.